Okay, so continuing from our previous video, says so once you have this, this alt, the auto sum formula, alt and equal to press enter, and if you want to drag the formula, just select those cells by pressing shift and hitting multiple times the right arrow key, and then press Ctrl R. So this gets populated, and the formula gets populated in all of the cells. Another thing that I want to show you is, for instance, you have written here a long sentence. Let's say revenues of the total company, and then you wrote here a certain number, let's say $4,500. So now, in this case, if you see here, this entire thing is not visible. In order to make it visible, you have two options: either increase the length of this column, the width of this column, or what you can do is just wrap text it. So press Alt H W, it will wrap text. This is another option. The another option would be to increase the width of this column. That would be, you can use cursor here and press double twice. It will go to the, it will set the range by default. And another thing would be, you can set all of the width of the column. So what I usually do is that I select this control and space, select it across, and then press Alt H O W, and then I get the column width 11.57, and then all of the columns are of the same width. Another thing would be, like if you have to merge certain text, so numbers generated randomly. Now, if you want to display this in center, you have two options. First option would be select all of the cells, then press Alt H and C, it gets in center. Okay. Another option would be to press Control 1. Click center here in the alignment. This is, sorry, my bad. Yes, center across selection. So these are two ways. In this, the cells do not get much, but it is, I prefer this because if you merge all of these cells and assume if you want to select one column, you won't be able to, because this entire thing will get selected. So yeah, the best would be to click center across selection, and if you want to select single column, you can still select it. Okay, so another thing is conditional formattings. What I used to do was, mainly in the models we had to show conditional formatting sometimes, and that too dependent upon a certain value. For instance, if a certain value is true or false. So in that case, for instance, if this is false, and let's say false here, and let's say this is true. So if you want to do a condition formatting, select them, press Alt H LHE, and then just write here false, enter. So we have to show wherever, or if wherever, you can even do this for, assume if these are not numbers, then you can just, you know, Alt H LH G or anything else. I chose equal to because I had to show many times this one, the equal to condition, but you can even select the less than or greater than. That would be Alt H LHG, Alt H LHL. But I suggest not to mug up all of these things, because only focus on the things that you most commonly use. Okay, I'll take you through another thing now. Assume this is the data for, let's say, 2018, and these are A, this is B, this is C, D, this is E, this is F, G, H, this is I, this is G, K, and this is L. So if you want to make a chart of this, press Alt F11. My bad. This gives you the developer. It should be Alt F1. Alt F1. It gives you the chart. Then you can format the chart. So that's another shortcut method. One more thing I would like to show you is the F2 key. So F2 key helps you to get into the editing mode. So like if there is any formula, if you press F2, you'll get into the editing mode. Another thing would be, so I'm just checking if I haven't missed out anything. Okay, yes, this is very important. At least for me, it was very, very important. So whenever you are working in financial models, you need to trace dependents. Dependents, I'll show you how what a dependent precedent would be. So for instance, this is 5, or probably let's say 5%, and this is 200, and this is 300, and this is this plus this into 5%. So this would be a precedent for this cell, okay, and this would be the dependent for this cell. So now, if you have to, many times when we have to edit the financial model, we can't just go ahead and delete cells like that. We need to check if they have any dependents or precedent. So very simple shortcut for that. Alt MD. It gives you dependents, and if the dependent is in a different, and if you have to remove the dependent rows, arrows basically, so Alt M double A. So for instance, I'll show you in a different sheet, because usually in models the linkages are in different sheets. So if you now go here and press Alt MD, you'll see an arrow like this which says that it's in a different sheet. Double click on that and you'll see this, that okay, this is linked to that. So unless I edit the formula of this, I cannot delete this. If I delete it, if I remove this row, remove this column, hash ref errors will populate it. So this is very, very important. And if you have to check the precedents, precedents would be Alt MP, and dependents is Alt MD. And if you have to remove the arrows, Alt MAA. There are certain data table shortcuts as well. If you have to create a data table, just press Alt DT. You'll get the data table. Make sure to select the data before you do that. So you select the like this and then press Alt DT. Alt DT. You'll get the data table shortcut. Another uh, shortcut would be comment part. So if you have to insert a comment, Shift F2, you'll get it. You'll see here to insert a comment. And if you have to delete a comment, or probably let's see first edit a comment, Alt RT, you can edit it here. If you have to delete a comment, Alt RD. Another one would be macros. We will tell